Hold up. Wait. Let me explain. Yo, it's your boy Unrestricted Flow back with another Unrestricted Flow's podcast, episode 3, and we are back with the Anime Enthusiast. And I know what the title says, yes, but if you want to know more about it and you're curious, stay tuned for the stream and stay through the video and you'll find out. Now let's hop right into it, man.
Later down in life, right, that, things are better with people that you love,
Yeah.
Like, so, and that really resonates with me because there are definitely moments where I've been down and very depressed, and my depression has, hit hard, and I know that that I'm not alone, and that there are people struggling with the same things, and then I know that there are friends that reach out to me, make sure that I'm doing okay, make sure that I'm well and not, thinking about all these negative stuff, and help me reach my goal, to be honest, and I feel like any and everybody can relate to that because it's just, that's how life is, and just how life goes,
Yeah, that's fact. That's true. That's how it goes, and we all have our own paths and all our own struggles we deal with in our personal lives, and we find things that can connect with us in the personal level because we're all human at the end of the day. Even anime shows, there's multiple different shows and they tell multiple different stories. So each one of them in their own personal way can connect with people in a certain way, in a fictional way, where it's not shown as a realistic way, but the story itself and how other characters are going through their own story can pose a certain connection with the viewer, the consumer.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of people love anime, because you connect with it in a certain way that it's not shown to be realistic, but give you a fun vibe, a personal, realistic vibe, but it's fun at the same time. It's just not seen as a realistic way. It's not shown in like real world situation type of ways. Like, characters don't look human, even if they maybe look like an alien or they got horns on their head or something like that. It still emulate a human being in a certain way because
exactly.
And I personally believe myself, I feel like in a way those shoes are very true. Like, I feel like in a cartoonish way and the way it's shown, it may be like different from realistic way, but at the same time I don't believe that we're the only people that live in this galaxy or just in general at all. There's definitely other planets, and I'm sure they all don't look like us. I'm sure they don't look human. So they could possibly emulate some characters from anime TV shows, and I believe their culture may be different. They may be speaking a different language, as so as anime does too. But at the same time, we all still think the same. They have a like-minded mindset, just like us. Their culture may be formed a different way. They may be able to all come together in a different way. Their civilization might be a different way, but I feel personally at the same time we're all doing the same thing, think the same way. We just have a different way of showing it, or a certain process, or this is different system that we go by, a certain algorithm that we go by. So I feel like anime can connect in those certain ways that realistic TV shows and movies can't. I mean, some can. Like, if I give you an example of movie Transformers, they can take it that way, but it still only resides on specifically Earth. It still got humans. It still got real life locations. It's just got aliens that look different, and the whole goal is to protect Earth life, human life, against their own kind that they're enemies with. But anime can take it farther than that. It could take it. I think actually only anime, even Transformers specifically, only the animated version of that takes it back to their own homeland, on their own planet with their own kind, and showing how things work out. And then while looking at it, you realize like they're no different from humans. They're just going about it a different way, or they just have more advanced technology and use it in different ways. But if we put ourselves in their shoes, they'll probably go the same way. So I feel like that anime can make that certain connection that
Yeah, definitely.
other movies and realistic what do you call it, non-fictional TV shows can't really connect to on that type of level. They can try, but it don't hit the same. So I definitely feel
Exactly.
you on that one. Now, if I was to throw in there on you, I would say currently I don't watch anime as much as you, but I do watch it here and there. I would say if I had a current anime show, favorite one would be. This is tough because I got two. I like my favorite personally is Dragon Ball Z,
Hmm.
that whole franchise, and then I got what's the one you was just talking about? I forget.
That's how.
So, Attack on Titan. Those are my
Yeah.
two favorite ones. Now, explain a little bit about it. I'll explain a little bit about it. I'll start off with Dragon Ball Z. No. I'm gonna start off with Attack on Titan first, then Dragon Ball Z. Now, you already know you introduced me to Attack on Titan, so that's what really got me
Yeah.
into it. Now, it was a TV show that I definitely learned the hard way that you have to really like, you got to give it a chance in a couple episodes to really like
Hmm.
for it to really hit, and you be like, oh shit, it'll just blow your mind. But I like how immediately you see it starts off somewhat good, and like their little kind of like China where they got their little walls and different
Hmm.
cities. It's already kind of
Hmm.
like it already starts off like in like a like hard times, old fashioned type of way, where it's like where they have
Yeah.
muskets and all that stuff back in that time. But
It, it kind of it doesn't really kind of like feel very like we don't really know the time frame because it like like you said it feels very older,
yeah,
right, the setting,
yeah,
but they still have certain types of like technology and stuff like
yeah,
that, like
yep,
firearms and stuff like that,
yeah, yeah,
but it kind of feels very, but they don't have no cars and
yeah,
everything is
exactly.
by horse, so it's very, yeah, I understand.
Yeah, so it's like it's still you still find a way to connect to it because even though it's its own little universe, it's still in an era where you're using cannons and muskets. I mean, they may not be wearing their hair that way like George Washington Bush with the white wigs all over their head
Yeah.
or the white coats and stuff like that, but it's still within that little. It resembles that
Era,
agricultural theme of that era. So you can connect in that some type of way. But even just the story of the main character Aaron, just him and how his little life, what was going on as he was a kid and before all the chaos started to happen. It already kind of feels like a little. I don't want to say brutal, but it starts to get a little mean. It gets a little serious off the bat because
dark, all dark, you
yeah,
know.
a little dark off the rip because he's a kid and his only friend is I forget her, what's her name, the little girl, huh?
Mikasa?
Yeah, I think it's Mikasa, the girl that always protects him throughout.
Yeah, Mikasa.
Mikasa. It starts with them how her family got the was why you always wearing a red scarf. Even his relationship between his parents and it was kind of like it seemed a little rough, but I think it was just because that he was just being a troublemaker. So his father was always off handling business, and his mother was always at home, and he was always going back and forth with his mother because I guess he didn't want to do certain things, or they just thought he was just always getting in trouble. So it gets a little dark, and then as it goes on, the Titans come in, start getting through the wall, destroying the city, and his mother stuck, gets hurt. I think she gets stuck under the house or something like that. And then
Yeah,
a Titan comes and eats her and stuff like that, or something like that.
yeah.
And that's what I think that's all within the same episode, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
So off the rip, it gets crazy, and then continuation, but just off the one episode, it gets crazy. Now, as you go through it, you start learning, you start revealing and knowing multiple things about the father, where he came from, what happened to him, why Aaron ended up becoming a Titan and stuff. I don't want to spoil it and stuff like that, but how things transition so crazy, and it's like what makes the TV show so good is like how they transition everything so much, and how things were developed and introduced. It was just like you like fuck, like, it makes sense, but it's like it's crazy because nothing happened like everything happened brutally. Nothing was like just a nice way of doing it. It was just like I chose to do this. Everything was brutal, and it was like it's like sacrifices was made. People was just being mean. It was just a great TV show. Now on a personal level, how I connect with it was.
All right, let me cut you off. Just go ahead. All right, so how would you feel? How would you feel, or how do you think it would look if you see that show live action?
What do you mean, like the story itself was real, or are you just saying like just seeing it in person?
Like watching it, like just watching like a live action version of Attack on Titan. Would you how would you feel about that? Would you not? Do you think it would not translate? Because that's another thing too. And you definitely pointed out that anime as a medium, right? Because it's animation, you can do a lot more stuff.
Yeah. With
the with the story and just basically with the setting and overall. And I feel like the animators and the artists, right, that they get from the manga do such a well job, with it and translate it into the screen. And that, like, let's just say you have actual real actors. How do you translate these big giant ass creatures like the giants into live action unless you're not doing it CGI? And on that topic too is like they actually did make a live action of Attack on Titan. I mean, was it good? I don't know, because like I never watched it.
Okay.
But you could definitely search it up and see for yourself. if you would, to compare it to the anime and see if like is this able to be done live action and stuff like that. But yeah, continue with your I just wanted to put out that point because that's very like interesting what you say, because it's like all these titans and stuff like that just look very grotesque and just unusual.
Yeah, I mean, 1 second, because I want to look that up to see. Oh, I see it. I just see you talk about, but as far as that point, to answer your question on like if I see the live action version of it, honestly, I feel like it's when it comes to like doing things out of anime, it's going to be a limit. So they always got to follow a certain time frame, and there's going to be a limit of what they can show and what they feel like they should show to in the film, so that way it can hit more powerful points. But it's going to be a limit. Exactly. Yeah. So if I was to see it real live action, that's gonna be hard to do because I can't even like think of movies that can resemble that. Like,
well, I mean, that's the thing with the beauty of anime is that like animation and like these artists put hard work, but then like you have stuff like Disney, right? Disney doing live action of all their animated movies.
Yeah.
And I feel like not that many kind of translate to live action because like you watch The Lion King and every animal is CGI.
Yeah.
And
well, here's my thing on it, right? If it was to transition live action, because of things it's so sensitive now, and they don't really get like the nitty gritty, like the real bloody action, because they don't take it that far no more. It's gonna be hard for you to be like, because that TV show was like one of the things among many that makes that TV show so good, because they're not afraid to show you some raw live action They don't care if you see the blood, the gut. They don't care. Like they're literally showing you titans with no skin. Like you see veins, you see the skeleton, you see the eyes, you see the teeth, you see them biting people, blood splattering all over the place. You see it. So if they was to translate to real life, I don't think they would show that the same exact thing. Even if you show a live action, if anything, you have to get it even more graphical than that. But I feel like they won't take it that far because, especially like you said, Disney don't take it that far because, they so sensitive and they want to make Disney kid friendly and all that stuff. So it's like they're not going to do that because it's not going to be like kind of really meant for kids because all the bloody and guts and stuff like so. I honestly, I feel like it can be, but I just know it wouldn't. It wouldn't be as good as the anime. So yeah, so it wouldn't be as good, and they'll be cutting certain parts off, important parts. So I was like, I wouldn't feel the same way if they made it in a real life version. It just wouldn't be as good. Now, if they could, I really believe they could, but it would take a lot of time, and they're not. I just know they're not willing to go that far. You have to have like a budget. Now, the producers of Attack on Titan, if they wanted to, I feel like they could, and I would believe so. It would be great because they made it and they know. I mean, they'll have to cut certain things off, but I know they'll be willing to go that far. But I'm not sure what the procedures and uh, terms and regulations are as far as producing a real life movie, like what you can and cannot show, and what things have to be cut off, and how far it can go, especially displaying what platform you're gonna put it on. Like if it's an anime, as 9 times out of 10, you might put it. Where you put it? No, they don't have to. They don't have to put it on anime, but it all depends. You probably put it on Amazon Prime, but then you have to go by their regulations and their terms and regulations. I mean, their terms and conditions as far as what they can show on their platform. And I'm sure they could. I'm sure that Amazon would allow them to take it there. I mean, I don't know if I don't think I can remember a movie that took it that far to where like guts and all that stuff. I don't know if it took it that far, but they're definitely allowed to get bloody, and they'll definitely get that bloody. But I don't know. Now connecting to that, as far as connected to that on a personal level, I'll just say if connected to a personal level, I'll just say the way of life there. It's a little tough. Like nowadays, things are tough, and it's hard to get things, and going through these wars and stuff like that. As far as on that type of level, go that far, but I can't. Maybe a little bit of Aaron's life as far as like the how the family, his family is a little personal. It's like it's a little rough. I mean, I'm not talking about the deaths. I'm just saying like the relationship between his parents and how it's a little rough. And got a little trouble. I will connect to that a little bit, but as far as that too much, that's as far as I can go as far as connected to it. I can't go no farther than that because it's anime, and the story is a little different, a different universe, so it's not going to be that much of a connection. But there is some lessons learned in there as far as how he feels about when he finds out about why they're in that area and why they was there, and why they're being attacked in the first place, and how the other people feel about their kind and what they call them. How he reacts to it and gains that anger and revenge to it. That I can connect to too, because it's like you don't even know these people, and you just putting a label on them automatically, and then you just like that's the actual. You can say that's like a racist basically, a modern racist thing, because you just categorize when I was a group of people, and some of them are like that, and it ain't like they chose to be in that position. They was born into it, and then that's just who they are. But that you just categorizing those group of people like they're bad people, like they're people just like you. What's the difference? They just have this, and they just born this way. And it's crazy as far as that goes. But that's what's part of it makes it so powerful as far as the story goes. And if I go from that, right, that kind of like ends that point on that part for that TV show. Now, as far as Dragon Ball Z, which is my favorite, actually, I think that was my first favorite anime. I would say Dragon Ball Z. I haven't watched the very first one, the Dragon Ball. I think it's called Dragon Ball, but everything else after I've watched. I don't. I like GT, Dragon Ball GT, but not that much. Only because the characters, their personalities are a little different from the originals.
Yeah.
But I would say Dragon Ball on a personal level because throughout the whole series, you always see the main character, one of the main characters, Goku. You never see him, you almost really never see him in a bad mood. He's always keeps it positive. Now, yeah, he may be a little stupid.
Yeah.
But he always keeps a positive, upbeat attitude in any situation. Even when the situation look like it's grim and you about to lose, he's still positive. He's still willing to keep fighting. Even when he's beat up, fucked up, all types of stuff. He still finds a way to keep going. Even when the enemy even when he stupidly let the enemy get a little too powerful, he still keeps it going. And it's crazy. His attitude is so toxic, so bad to where he almost damn near brings Earth.
Toxic traits.
Yeah, he almost brings Earth to the brink of death, or basically getting sacrificing Earth to get killed because he be letting these guys go a little too far.
Exactly.
And it's like, well, damn, bro, like. You underestimate this man's power, or you doing it so you can have some good competition? Like a good fight ain't enough. Like how far you need to go? Like these dudes, they telling you like they trying to kill you and kill the planet. You trying to mess around and stuff like, oh, Dragon Ball. I said, man, look, over there, you getting people killed, and then you get mad, and then you blame yourself for your actions. I mean, I get that too, bro. But like, damn, bro, it's like.
I mean, he really. It's true what you said about he really don't. But at the same time, it's like they got the Dragon Balls. They got the Dragon Balls. They can make any type of wish they want. So I mean, they worry to an extent, but at the same time, they don't because they have literally free unlimited wishes that they can just go collect anytime.
Yeah, true, but I feel like it's only safe.
Everybody back?
Yeah,
everybody back.
Exactly. I feel like it's only safe that way because the enemies don't really know about it. They don't know how many they got, so you only know about the ones on Earth, but you don't know about the ones on. They may not know about the ones on Namek. But still, it's like if you had an enemy that knew about all the Dragon Balls, like for example, Frieza. Let's just say you have another movie where he comes back and he's trying to kill him. He has the knowledge. He knows that you got other. First of all, he got the strength to rival them, especially now with his new form. I don't know if you read the Megas, but he got that new Black Frieza form now that surpasses Goku and Vegeta. So ain't no stopping, and you ain't really stopping him now. And then right now he has his brother Cooler now. He helped him reach the golden form. Cooler hasn't reached the black form yet. It's going to take him. If he reaches that form within the time frame of these episodes, that would be mind blowing. Because I'm like, it took you 10 years for you to reach that form, just in a different dimension. So that much time would be passed. And for his brother Cooler to rapidly catch up to him without going through the same process is going to be crazy. That means he must be stronger than you and better than you if he can do that. But regardless for the fact, Frieza is now got the power to tear them both apart. Now I don't know how much of a challenge it will be, but he has the power to like pose a threat to them now, like easily. And he has the knowledge of the Dragon Balls on Earth and on Namek. I don't know if there's other Dragon Balls. Now I know it's like different category, like it's first Dragon Ball, 2 Dragon 3, but he has the knowledge of it now. So now, I mean, even if they wanted to sit there and be like, we got the Dragon Balls, well, he knows about it. So he already knows that you're going to rely on the Dragon Balls no matter how much damage he do. So he going to make sure that you can't. And it ain't like you got the power to stop him unless you get the gods of destruction involved. But they don't get involved in human conflicts. They're not supposed to. So you can't rely on them either unless he's going for their spot. He's willing to attack them. That's the only time they'll get involved. But then they still have limits. So let's just say let's just say he fights Beerus and beats him. I don't know what this power scale between them are, but let's just say he fights Beerus and beats him. He might go after Whis, but then again, Whis is at limitations. He has to follow the rules of the angels, and he can't. He's forbidden unless given permission. He's forbidden unless given permission by his father, the head angel. He can't use all his full power against mortals without permission, and I highly doubt that the head of all angels is gonna give him permission to use his full power against Frieza. He doesn't. I don't see Frieza as posing that big of a threat like that. Even if he defeated Lord Beerus, he doesn't pose that big of a threat compared to like those type of levels of power. Like even if he wanted to, Whis might be able to beat him without even using his full power, honestly. So he may not need it, but still he can't get involved either. So it ain't like he gotta fight back. So if they can get strong enough,
I mean, I believe that like if anything could happen, like Frieza can like try to become immortal, and then that would like, then if he's immortal, then can't the angels actually fight him because he became like immortal? Because remember, like they don't fight mortals, to be honest. Like you said,
yeah.
Obviously, like in the thing. So who knows? I mean, the direction they could go is anywhere. So it's a possibility.
I mean, they could go any direction, but it still has to like make logical sense to their past decisions. For example, Zamasu, one of them was immortal. So when he got killed, his body just took over the whole galaxy, and he basically controlled it, and he had they had no choice but to get Zeno involved and erase the whole universe just because of that one person. But I think in the manga they already stated that Frieza didn't want to become mortal because living a life without dying is just like pointless, So they could take it that far, but if they did, it wouldn't make no sense to do that. And plus, he already went, and if that was the case, why would you need your brother to get involved if you're immortal? So it's like it wouldn't make no sense as far as how the story's going. Now, as far as how Frieza could go that far, but he won't, only because he's so obsessed with beating Goku and Vegeta. He's so obsessed with it that he won't, because until he does, then he'll start to climb the ladders and try to beat these other gods and take over. Like we know he wants to take over Zeno's the Omni King spot, but his power level ain't not even that close to do that. Like he could literally, if he wanted to, he could wipe you out just like that, and you can't do nothing about it. So it's like he's trying to, but he'll use any gadget or any tool he can to do it, even if his own power level isn't enough. He'll use whatever he could, but at the same time, I don't think he'll get that far, nor do I think he'll take that path, because he's so obsessed with Goku and Vegeta, and those two are not willing to just let him go about his business because they know how he is. They know how he is, and they know that he was actually the first. Well, he wasn't the first villain, but he was actually the first real villain that I kind of did something to the characters in a certain way, like Goku. I feel like Goku had multiple enemies in the past that it made him cry or made him mad or some type of way where he lost friends or family. But for some reason, Frieza is the one arch enemy that he has that killed a friend that he got extremely pissed off, turned into Super Saiyan, and then killed him. I don't know. I can't explain that. Maybe you can explain that for me. Why Frieza? Why Frieza plays that arch enemy part as far as out of all the enemies? Why did he play that specific part?
Because he was basically Goku's first ruthless villain. Up until now, who has Goku faced? Like before the Frieza saga and everything, Goku has been just in Dragon Ball. He's been traveling around, right? Fighting mortals, fighting the Red Ribbon Army, fighting Piccolo, who at the time we didn't know, we didn't know he was an alien. We knew him as a demon,
Yeah.
right? So that's one big aspect of it. But Frieza just he knocked it out the ballpark, killing people here and there. His power, his strength was super high when he got introduced.
Yeah.
And all the other characters were like really, really low compared to Frieza. Mind you, he had 4 other transformations or 3 other transformations.
True.
And he was already powerful in his base form. So we didn't know how the hell was gonna beat him and how the hell. But it basically Frieza is basically Goku's opposite. As Goku is carefree and willing not to kill people, Frieza don't give 2 effing,
Yeah.
He will straight up murder you with no intent, absolutely, because he wants to. And also, he is the antithesis because he destroyed his home planet.
True.
Frieza was the one that killed his father, right? And killed his whole family. Basically, killed his family and killed his home. So
yeah, but if you say that, if we relate that to Goku really, I mean, he knows, but he don't really care.
Now,
yeah, he don't. Yeah, now he knows, but he don't really care as far as like him doing that because he wasn't there.
Well,
Vegeta knows.
Vegeta knows, yeah, but it's so many, like, even during the fight with Frieza in Namek, Frieza killed so many people.
Yeah.
He killed Vegeta. He killed Krillin. He wiped the floor off of Piccolo when he came back.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Did he kill Piccolo or no? He didn't.
Almost did.
He almost did.
Yeah.
And his son was there too. His son was on the planet too, and was being terrorized.
Yeah.
By the Ginyu Force, Frieza's men, Frieza himself.
Yeah.
Like, and that was the most challenging thing that Goku had to face, and just had to open his eyes that, like, listen, like, there's something beyond Earth. There's something beyond Earth. There are more eviler beings that are not even on Earth that he has to face and take out. It's just very mind-boggling because, like, imagine you being somebody who you thought you were a human.
Yeah.
And then years after you're an adult, you find out you're an alien, a race of half monkey creatures, right?
Mm-hmm.
That are able to turn into these big apes, and you were wiped out by this one guy. Think about it like that. Think it from the perspective of Goku, just having to learn all that in a short amount of time, in like maybe like 5 months, 6 months, after you're already like an adult, is crazy. And to know that this person killed your whole tribe, your whole, race, and stuff like that, and also killed your best friend.
Yeah.
That would do a lot to somebody. That, and he was able to, well, he wasn't able to keep his cool because obviously after that he unlocked Super Saiyan, and that was the catalyst of the whole show. And then after basically Super Saiyan, we got a bunch of transformations, which made Dragon Ball Z what Dragon Ball Z is. You understand?
Yep.
Which is like a power fighting fantasy, of all these big people and just strong individuals just keep unlocking and trying to, further up their power and like going beyond their limits.
Yeah.
This was the first time Goku was able to transform into something that Frieza was fearing. That feared, basically.
Yeah.
After we were shown that people can actually transform in this show. You understand?
Yeah.
Even though we knew that Goku tail and he transformed into a grade ape, right? But that was never like controlled.
Yeah.
That was never controlled and stuff like that. So now having Frieza able to go into first form, second form, third form, fourth form, like that, the main character, the protagonist of the show, needed some type of power up to be able to defeat him as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now, yet again, he's in a position where now he's like, the power difference is even, the gap between him is even farther now when he's up top again. So, even with him that 10 years, even with him having that power, actually he got a whole transformation that surpasses them. But him being able to 10 years of training to be at that form, to create that gap, and now it's almost like he's uncertain that he can beat him that easily because you went to get your brother, right? And it's like, it's a little funny because I'm like, okay, if you got this transformation and you like, they was fighting, I can't, this is the saga where they're fighting this guy, I can't remember his name. It was the previous saga. I can't remember where like his father has saved one of them.
Granola?
Yeah, Granola in that saga. He's fighting Granola and the other guy, the one that his father Bardock was.
Yes.
Towards the end, where Frieza came because originally that the crew that wanted to take Granola out so they can get to Frieza, so they could like take out.
Basically Frieza. Basically kind of challenge Frieza. There was some that wanted to take Frieza, like, because it's crazy. It's really crazy. That arc in itself is really crazy because the villains that we get introduced are talking about Frieza.
Yeah.
You know, after the whole Tournament of Power arc, when we brought back Frieza.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, now Frieza's alive.
Yeah.
And all these things is revolving around Frieza because he's such a menace.
Yeah.
He's such a menace to society and even the universe that it's like, how can we get one up on Frieza? How am I able to beat Frieza and stuff like all these characters? Mind you, we're not even getting seen like what Frieza is doing. He only shows up at the end.
Yeah.
He only shows up at the end and was like,
he showed up and he took out, I mean, this is after they was fighting for a long time.
It
was fighting for a long time, so it was exhausted, basically drained. But he came. They
had special beans. They had to rest. They got healed. Yeah. Everybody, had to transform, figure out their power ups again, everything.
It was crazy. So he came in, gave him a nice little punch and threw him to the side, and then
and not only that, to be honest, Frieza was the one that defeated the villain of the arc. He came in, showed out, was like you guys were trying to backstab me the whole time, even while with me to the villains. He was like, okay, I see what you've done. I'm killing you guys. You guys are dead. Right now, I want to take on my rivals, which is Goku and Vegeta.
Yeah.
And he wipes the floor with them. It doesn't take more than a punch.
It's not even a fight.
It's not even a fight. It's basically a takedown. And he basically leaves. Yeah. And doesn't do anything. He doesn't blow up the planet. He doesn't capture Goku. Vegeta doesn't capture no Dragon Balls. No nothing. He just goes, shows up, says hi, beats everybody up, and then leaves.
Yeah. And
that's really...
I don't even really want to say that he beat the other guy, the villain. I don't want to say that because it's what they did. Like, for him to get his power to be able to be that high, they was draining his lifespan, but they was like, he got power, like, it was supposed to be like the strongest being in the universe.
Yeah.
To be that strong. I mean, but Frieza is in the universe, but he was in a different universe for 10 years. But it all depends on when he came back. I don't know how it goes.
That's the thing. So that's the thing. So Frieza technically wasn't in the universe at that time. He was in the time chamber, right? Mm-hmm. And then once, you know what I'm saying? So they were making wishes to become the strongest while the rules were ignoring Frieza because he wasn't there. While Frieza was training right? He got to a certain level that he achieved. That once he was out of the chamber, once he came into, he became kind of the strong. So it was kind of like a loophole. Yeah. Like the Dragon Balls had like a whole loophole in itself that we didn't even know because characters were talking about Frieza, not even we didn't even know where he was. Yeah, we didn't know where he was until he showed up. Yeah. So it was very interesting, and just the fact that I'm talking to a little tangent. Mm-hmm. Talking about Goku and Vegeta, because Goku and Vegeta definitely got major development in the art, and I feel like from this going forward, we're gonna see more of that too. We're gonna see more development of Vegeta and stuff like that, and they're gonna keep growing, but not very. I feel like they're gonna grow in power level and in transformation, but not just that, also in personalities and how they interact with one another more, and just their growth. Because one of the biggest developments that Goku had was basically kind of like seeing his father, or just learning about his father, which was something that I've always wanted for Goku, because I think Goku needed that closure. He needed to find out where he was from and who his father was, to get that sort of closure, to be able to know, like, oh, this is who I am, right? This is who I am in relations to my race, to my family, to my blood, and then this is who I am, how I see myself as a human, as a person from Earth, born and raised on the planet Earth. Because he has a family. Yeah. He has Chi-Chi. He has Gohan. He has Gotenks. You understand? Yeah. He, like, Bulma is like his best friend. Well, he's not his best friend, but one of his best friends. Yeah. Let's say that. Yeah. You understand? And it was a whole shift on Goku's character, because he finally realized, like, what he missed, which is basically kind of like what it meant to be a Saiyan. Yeah. What does it mean to be a Saiyan? You understand? Yep. And he never understood that, because even though Vegeta used to talk shit about him, and used to talk shit to his face about, like, you don't know what it likes to be a Saiyan because you were never raised, or you were never raised like us. You was never raised like us, so you wouldn't know, And which was really awesome, because so he got that closure from his father. You understand? And his father was like, what drives me is the fight, the thrill of the fight, and stuff like. And that's something Goku can relate to, because that's in his blood. He thought it was just a personality thing, but that was already in his blood, and now Goku can be able to develop his personality and grow as a person, And also Vegeta, I'd say Vegeta too, because Vegeta found out that the sins of his past, the sins of his fellow blood and Saiyans, like, he doesn't have to burden that. He doesn't have to burden, because whatever happened to the past happened in the past, and he's his own person. Yeah. You understand? Yeah. He's his own person, and he's able to grow like that. And he was able to give advice to Granola, and was like, yo, you gotta man up. You gotta man up and realize that, like, the things you've done in the past, or the things that I've done in the past, does not or the things that my brothers, have done in the past, does not necessarily reflect myself, him. Because since we first got introduced to Vegeta till now, he has grown a lot. Yeah. He's had a family. He's lived in Earth. He has a son, has a wife, and he has a daughter, has gone through a lot, has fought in different types of enemies. Mm-hmm. You understand? And I really love seeing Vegeta grow, and just not, and just be like, yo, and then show basically a different character, basically his enemy. Because Granola is a misunderstood character as well, just like as Vegeta is, in some type of way. Okay. But Vegeta was able to show his enemies, like, yo, what I did, what my brothers, that doesn't have nothing to do with me. I'm my own person.
Yeah.
You're your own person. He showed his enemy like you're your own person. Whatever the Saiyans did to you, to your family, to your mother, to this planet, that's in the past. We gotta learn to grow away from our past and able to grow and be astounding people. And that was one of the lessons that art kind of showed me and taught the characters. It's just, it was just something very, very good. And I feel like that arc was one of the best arcs that I've ever seen in Dragon Ball, because until now, I think Dragon Ball Z, from the Saiyan saga to the Frieza saga to the Cell saga to the Buu saga, there's been missing personal growth, personal development, and not just like power-ups.
Yeah.
Everybody loves power-ups. Everybody loves power-ups. Everybody loves seeing Super Saiyan 3, Super Saiyan 2, Cell mutating, growing and shit like that. But we got to see these characters actually grow. And that was a first. That was actually a first. So I really appreciate this arc, this whole Granola arc, for what it did, and bringing more to the characters and to the story as a whole.
Yep.
And having Frieza in there was just the icing on the cake. Was basically the cherry on top, because we got to see our old face again. So
because if you really like all about the storytelling between Granola arc and like how Vegeta transitions, and then Frieza comes at the end, but I think people will miss this. But there really wasn't nothing. Frieza was just a popped up character. He was involved, like they were their main mission, but he wasn't like really there in the story. It was all personal growth, like you said, personal growth for each character and their story. But I feel like it's gonna go over people's head when Frieza pops up at the end, because I don't think people really understand what that means. Because Frieza is really the character that brings them all those characters together. They all have Frieza in common, and not just in a nemesis arch enemy type of way of what he's done, but in a way where he's the cause of a lot of their problems.
Exactly. It's very true. Yeah.
Like Vegeta, where he came from, what he was going through because of Frieza. And Frieza and his father, with Goku and his father, what they went through because of Frieza. Granola, his parents getting killed because of Frieza's troops coming down to their planet trying to raid it.
Exactly. And who were his troops? The Saiyans.
It's all because of Frieza. So it's like he coming at the end out of all the story time and the personal development and the speeches coming in, all that, and he was like, everybody seeing like this motherfucker right here. Like that main guy that's just like, you are the problem. Everyone wants you, like you are the issue. But he always somehow ones up everybody.
Yeah,
always at the top. Always. Knowing that he's the cause of all the problems, he's always at the top of everybody. Now, Granola arc is one of the best, probably the best arc they come out with. I'm fascinated to see how they go about putting it into the
animated. Yeah,
I'm fascinated, but it's going to take some time because they still got to do what's that arc?
Moro.
Yeah, the Moro arc. They got to do that one. Now I like the Moro arc, but the Moro arc. Here's something interesting to me. The Moro arc and the Terminal Power arc are very similar to me, only because it's not just a challenge for Goku to surpass. Is you're faced with an enemy that is above your reach and is outside of your reach, and it's funny to say that. Yeah, they have to go through a transformation, or Goku, whoever, they all have to go through their own transformations to be able to compete with that opponent. But at the same time, it puts them at a edge of their limit. Because if you notice how every time they transform, it's always a personal growth with that they need to surpass or come to terms with to be able to get to that next level. For example, Super Saiyan for Frieza, Super Saiyan for Goku on the Frieza Sega. Goku had a friend killed, a close friend of his killed for him to like really like when we ain't never seen Goku that mad. That man was pissed. That motherfucker he even yelled at Gohan like, "Get the fuck out of here before I lose my sense." Like he said, like he was pissed.
Yeah.
Like he didn't. He was. It was no chill with him all through. He was like, "Yeah, you're gonna pay for what you did." Like that man. It was a personal growth for him. Like he had to like. That was the first time he had to reach a ceiling and break through it off of just anger. That was a personal growth to use his anger to hit a new ceiling. And then next, we're faced with the Cell Saga. Now, and that saga is very fascinating for Gohan because he went through his personal growth stage, the Cell Saga and Buu Saga, because he had the. I think those two really targeted Gohan because he had to go through that personal growth and stop being so timid and stop being so nice and shy and not want to show his true power. And so it's like he's in a position where he's facing an enemy that all like his father, Vegeta, all these people that they did all this training and their fighting experiences, all of that, and he's the only one with, I would say, about the least amount of experiences, but he's the only one that can beat that opponent that everybody's so much out of reach to fight. He's the one that literally can reach a transformation that nobody else can't really reach at the moment. And he was able to beat it now, but he got too arrogant with his own power that he allowed it to go too far and almost cost the whole battle. But to see that Gohan has that type of pent-up power within him, and it almost seems like he got more than Goku, which is hard to believe, and struggle to level like that.
Well, if you think about it, the whole Super Saiyan transformation comes from anger.
Yeah.
You know, that's what happened with Goku the first time. The reason he was able to unlock it was through anger. The anger, the resentment towards Frieza for killing his friend.
Yeah.
That basically blew him up. And for Vegeta, it was a bit different because he unlocked it through training and stuff like that. But he was already a hot, egotistical person that he already had his anger unlocked. He just needed to achieve the power level to actually unlock it. To activate it. And then for Gohan, it was a bit different.
Yeah.
At first, because he was able to unlock it through training, right, in the hyperbolic time chamber, Super Saiyan 1.
Yeah.
But and Goku was the one teaching him, to unlock it. So he was able to manage to get to Super Saiyan. But Super Saiyan 2 was also through rage.
Yeah.
Through rage. And even from the beginning, we knew that Gohan had a very powerful rage factor. What
wasn't really a power thing with Gohan because he got to Super Saiyan, he had to train, but he had to learn how to use anger.
No. It definitely is a rage factor because if you remember the Saiyan saga with Raditz, right?
Yeah.
You remember Raditz? He took Gohan away, remember?
Yeah, and had him in a pod.
He kidnapped it and then put him in the pod, right? And then, Gohan was getting angry in that pod.
Yeah.
He was fighting Goku. Raditz was fighting Goku, and then all of a sudden, Gohan just breaks out of the pod. As a little kid, he has to be like 8 years old, 6 years old, around there. And Raditz noticed that his power level was going up. It's like shooting up.
Yeah.
Gohan's shooting up, and he doesn't understand why. And as soon as he gets out of the space pod, of the pod, you could just see like Gohan is just really mad, and he's like, whoa. Something with rage has to do with his power level, or and stuff like that. So the more angry Gohan gets, the stronger he is. But it's a very dichotomy because we learn Gohan is a kind-hearted person, right? That doesn't like to show emotion, like you said. Very reserved and stuff like that. But once he gets angry, it's all over. And that is some type of true with people in real life.
Yeah.
That the most dangerous people are the quiet ones.
Yeah.
The most dangerous people are the quiet ones.
Yeah.
You know, are the ones that keep to themselves. And that very holds true because at the time of the Cell saga, when we get to Cell and we get to the, you know, whole Cell games and stuff like that, and, you know, Gohan is facing Cell, and then when Cell kills or kind of destroys the head of 16, which is somebody he kind of relates to because he knows that, like, 16 isn't, like, this bad guy. We all think that 16 is this bad guy because he's hunting for Goku, right?
Yeah.
But throughout the whole Cell saga, he doesn't do anything. You know, he's not like 17. He's not like 18. He's usually in the back, reserved, quiet, chilling with the birds. Chilling with the, you know, and
got the deers and stuff all around him.
You know, and he's just a very kind soul. You know, even though his primary objective is to kill Goku, to find Goku, kill him. You know, but once we find out, you know, Cell is the bigger threat, he takes a kind of like a seat back, right?
Yeah.
He does his thing, but Gohan peeps that, like, you know, this person is not who he says he is. Yeah. Kind of reserved. And I feel like how Gohan can relate to him and was friends with him or made friends with him, you know, that kind of gave him a connection. But then once 16 died and his head got, like, smashed by Cell, it was all over. It was all rage. And then that's how he was able to unlock Super Saiyan 2.
I mean, now that I think about it, it's all about, I would probably say it has something to do with the connection you have with a person, but I feel like it's more about that trigger, that one thing, kind of like what, it's kind of similar to what Frieza did to Broly in the movie to trigger him to go as far as he did in his own power.
Yeah.
Like he was when Frieza was like in the moment, he thought about him like, man, what's it going to take to send you over the edge? And Frieza thought about what happened with Goku, what he did to Goku, and he was like, let me kill his father, and it should send him over the edge. And once his father, he just purposely just to, it wasn't even like a serious thing. He was just like, I'm gonna kill this father, and then put a whole scene like, oh my god, your Ki blast came over here and killed your father, like some bullshit ass lie, and then showed him. Yeah. And then Broly just got like fucking just lost all control and just went to a whole new level. So it's like it all takes to get rid of that one person you have a connection with, or just to personally see something, and that trigger hits, and now it's all war now. It's all like now it's over. Just like how you did with Brody. Now, my thing is, here's the thing. Now, Gohan has a very, what's the word I want to use? Very ferocious anger that can get his power a lot high, right? But it's more accessible now than it was before, right?
Yeah.
Now, my thing is that I don't think now Gohan has that type of anger locked away. I mean, anger to where it can send him over them type of heights anymore.
I mean, did you see the Dragon Ball Super movie?
I didn't see it, but I saw the trends. I seen like all it took for Piccolo to get fucked up by Cell, and Piccolo didn't even die. He just got knocked out or whatever. He didn't even die, and Cell had him on the hand, and he saw that and just sent him over the edge, similar to when he fought Cell previously, and sent him over the edge, and then he took that power. Now, that was a transformation just waiting to be locked away. Now, there's a theory about that. It was another little, I think it was fan made or something, where like that transformation has like some type of, he has an ancestor locked away to him. It could be like because of that transformation, he's got some evil guy locked away that's giving him that type of power. But I'm not sure if that's true or not. Like if it's connected with the actual universe. But to me, Goku has the more stronger anger because he barely gets mad like that. And even in situations, I give you a prime example, Terminator Power when he was fighting Jiren, he went through all these transformations fighting Jiren, even at the same transformation where he was just like getting more tactical with his fighting skills against Jiren because he know he can't beat him brawl for brawl. Then he achieves Ultra Instinct fighting Jiren and still they going brawl for brawl, and then next you know Jiren tries to kill everybody in the stance. And then this man Goku gets mad, and that's when he ends the fight right then and there. It took for him to like one up Jiren like that. Just from him getting mad is like I think because he don't use it that much. Exactly. I feel like a character that could reserve don't even in the toughest times, even in the times where you would think you would get that mad, he don't get mad. Mm-hmm. He reserves it, and it's like the more you reserve anger, especially in a lot of situations that will provoke your anger to come out, and it's all being built up. So when it does come out, now you in trouble because now you like, where the fuck did all this come from? Like, goddamn.
Exactly.
You know? So I feel like Goku has the more power potential because he don't allow his emotions to get the best of him. He thinks everything like in a tactical way, to where he's like, I'm not gonna get mad because I know. He just finds a different way of doing it. He more have a martial artist mindset to not let the anger or his emotions get to him. Like from his teachings from Master Roshi and all the previous martial arts masters that he'd been with. He don't allow the anger to get to him. He just think of it as like, okay, how can he strategizes it to techniques. Now Vegeta, thing about him is he always fucking get mad. So ain't no power really right there for him to like burst out and just jump that way. It's more of he just has to reserve it. I don't know. Vegeta's a different type of character. It's hard to figure out.
Definitely.
Gohan, he has anger. He don't use it all the time, but it's because he don't fight like that. He don't fight people like that. And on top of that, he don't be put in too many situations where he got to get mad anyway. So it's like, I would say you're reserving it, but you ain't really in a situation that Goku's always fighting somebody. He puts himself in situations where he's fighting people. So he always has a lot of reasons to get mad and reserve his anger to he finally comes out with a foe where he uses it. So I feel like as far as people that has the biggest potential to grow based off of anger or transformation is Goku, because that man does not use his anger no matter what. Now, on that note,
I mean, he doesn't really, he doesn't really need it though. He's a, I mean, I feel like in the Granola arc and in other arcs too, he's able, like, he already learned it, and he knew, like, you know, he knows that anger is the catalyst for a lot of strength.
Yeah, especially as him as a Saiyan, it is mostly.
It is, but I think for Goku, he has learned to maybe like move away from that type of you know.
I would say so, because he kind of has to be until he's trying to match your Austin instinct, which is you have to be in that calm state of mind. So yeah, I would say like he move away from it because he kind of have to, because him trying to perfect the God technique of Ultra Instinct, you have to be in a calm mindset, not letting basically be emotionless to all situations and letting your body move on its own. Yeah. So you have to be in that state, but at the same time, we like in a recent episode, I think it was last episode, 2 episodes, is a recent episode of the current arc. The angel tells him like, listen, I understand you trying to move away from your who you are as a Saiyan and trying to like fight and think like an angelic being of the angels, but you're not an angelic angel. You have to use this power and technique through your way, how you were born. You have to fight like a Saiyan and use your Saiyan nature with this technique for you to basically use the power of it. You can't just be, you can't fight like angels, how they are, how strong they are. You can't fight like them because you're not an angel. They're angels.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's almost like, in a way, him moving away from it is hurting him. His natural, his who he is, and his nature, is hurting him and his power. So him doing that is not a good thing, because it kind of like defeats the purpose of you being who you are and what you can use, or what you can do with the power you got, to go farther. So it's like he could be much stronger with the anger. I'll say he'd just be doing some stupid shit in certain situations. Like even now, the current arc where he's faced up with like the five of the strongest beings in reality, basically, and he has to fight all of them. And all of them, even the least strongest one, has a power that he not nowhere near. This man threw a punch at Goku, didn't even hit him, and wiped out all the nearby planets. Goku threw a punch at him, and it just made like a big ass key blast from it. It's like that type of difference is a big gap. So to be able to close that distance and within a year, I think, it's in the year, it's going to be very difficult. You're going to have to come a long way and master a lot of things just to get that far and close the gap. Because we only talk about him closing the gap between one person. There is no telling what's the difference. And then, not to mention they got their own techniques and shit. But True. You got to close that distance between just that one fighter, and then you got to close the difference between 4 other fighters. Now, but there's no telling that. What's the gap between all opponents? Like, is the gap? I don't really see. I mean, it's possible because they're 5 strongest, so it has to be. I don't think it would be that far of a gap between them. I feel like the 5th. He's the 5th, but he's not that far from the 4th, and the 4th is not that far from the 3rd, so on and so forth. But then it could be a possibility that it is a big gap, because at the same time, the number 1 strongest is the Grand Priest, and I don't even think even amongst the rest of the 4, I don't know what's the gap between the Grand Priest, even, and if he's the strongest, even without him using his full potential, which he's forbidden to use by the Omni King, it's like, if you don't need that form to beat the previous, then it's like, okay, Goku, you have no fucking chance. There's no way, because it's like the gap difference is too far, and even you somehow obtaining that power, it has to be a transformation. It has to be a transformation within the transformation, like Ultra Instinct. Like, you have to use you're gonna have to use your own natural transformation with Ultra Instinct, because, like they say, there was I don't know if you watched this one, but there was one where they brought their father back. I mean, Vegeta's father's back, and he was training his father with. Actually, no. They brought Bardock back, and they brought Vegeta back. I mean, Vegeta's father's back, and Vegeta was training his father, and he had evolution in blue. I don't think he had the purple.
What was that? Wait, what?
This was previous. This was like after Tournament of Power. It's not an arc. I think it was his fan made.
Oh, okay.
But in that one, it was so realistic because he was training his father, and he was telling him, like, he was basically, you really got a better understanding of how the power levers work, as far as between your base form and then the Super Saiyan transformations. The Super Saiyan transformations only are multipliers to your own strength. What Vegeta was Vegeta's father was explaining to him to his son while he was fucking him up. He was basically saying, Vegeta's father said that in hell, him and Kakarot's father Bardock, they was in there fighting like they stayed basically fighting every day because they was in hell, so they were fighting every day, getting strong every day, almost coming near to death. So he said they fought like thousands of times. So fighting that many times and then coming that close to death, you get stronger each time. So that many times, your base form by itself is going to be mad strong. Like you gonna have power without even needing transformation, and then the transformation itself is just gonna make it's just gonna be a multiplier that just makes your strength even stronger than it is. And Vegeta's father had literally so many different transformations. He achieved them with no problem because of his own base strength. So it's almost like levels. Like once you achieve a certain base level strength, then you can achieve this form, achieve this multiplier. It's almost like an award when you make your own base self stronger. So he surpassed his own son so quickly, but he didn't have to use no God form or nothing like that. He was able to achieve God form, but he didn't need to know how to get there. He used his own Saiyan race. Like he had the tail, so he used the Saiyan tail, their transformation. So he had like the Super Saiyan 4 transformation. He had 5, he had all these different transformations. So he's basically, it kind of like after that you kind of learn how it was. Now yet, basically as them as a Saiyan race, they have their own Saiyan transformations, but they can also use God Ki as different transformations. They both can combine with each other. So it's like they have more power to use, but they don't know about it. So it was like, I don't know if they was to integrate that in the fucking manga, that would be like, it would make a lot more sense on how their powers actually used, because who would know more about your race and what you can do with it than the people in your own race? You know what I mean? So that's how like that I fuck with that little fan made one, because it makes a lot more sense as far as breaking down their power within them and what they can do with it.
True. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So with that being said, it's been like 2 hours. Yeah, a little over 2 hours. That was a good episode of the podcast. Edwin, Anime Enthusiast, thank you for being on the show. A good conversation on anime. I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me on.
Thank you. No problem, always. Now, for the next one, I'm going to talk to you about it the next stream, but we're going to wrap this up, give it a day, get some water, get some rest, and I'll catch you on the next one.
Peace.